believe it spoke about their beings, the Nephilims, the wicked ones that came through. Came through where? Came through where? Everybody's looking up. Everybody's talking about the forces or the elders that came from up down here. Right? But they taught you and I to worship a word and to look down. And cut us off from the power of the Elohim, which links us to El, who is Allah. You say Allah and Allah is the same thing. Allah, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, Allah, Allah. What day when you take Adam, say Adam, break down the word Allah, he says El Illah. El Illah, the God. But when you say God with dyslexia, you come up with dog, and dog is Anubis. You see that? The jackal dog of ancient Egypt. Symbolically of them marrying in. When the Hyksos dynasty got into Egypt, the light-skinned Egyptians, it was from mixing in with us. You follow that? We were the jackal god to them. And whenever they portrayed a jackal god in ancient Egypt, it's a black dog. Don't believe me. Look it up. Ain't no more time for beliefs. Belief means B-E what? Lie. It's to lie to Eve's children. And that's exactly what he said he was going to do in Genesis 3. He's going to put this hate and envy between who? And who? No, come on, say it like you believe it. That's right. Did he say between Adam's seed? No. So who is the superior in the eyes? The male or the female amongst us? Oh, wait. Wait, back up, you know. You don't want to hear that. But that's not what the scripture says. The scripture teaches us that we are the woman's seed. Not that she is our seed. And the war is going to be between the woman and the serpent. And her seed, which is you and me. That's why in ancient Egypt, the god Isis is the ark for the archangels that domes over the heavens and is painted blue, and the man is on his back looking up. Because all men pass through the garden to get into earth. The garden is pure and unadulterated. It's called the vagina or virginity. We all pass through it to get here. Now, some men are saying, but didn't women originally come from us? Oh, yes. And didn't we originally come from? Yes. That's because we are the ruh principle, and she is the nafs principle. The nafs principle is interpreted in ancient Egypt as the ka, the letter ka, or what you might know as K. In your language, you put ka on the end of nouns or constructing verbs to identify you. You'd say book, kitab, kitabuka, my book. Now, when I say my book, kitabuka, I could just as well say nafsi, me. Nafsi is in the Quran as both spirit and self. So the principle of ka is both spirit and self. Both physical and spiritual. But ruh, they call in the Quran, ruh qudus. And Allah says, I, or we, the Elohim, strengthen Jesus with our ruh. See, that was up there. Now, to put things in proper place. In this realm, we are on the planet Earth. And on the planet Earth, she is the mother of all living. You follow that? When we get back into our proper state as Elohim in the heavens, we are the Father of the heavens. See, when they refer to the Almighty, they refer to Him as a father figure. When they refer to the creation of beings, they refer to it as a mother figure. Thus, we have to come to the mother as a soul to manifest as a spirit and a self on this planet. So we were soul first. And prior to that, we were holy soul. Ruh Qudus. A part of the Elohim. But we have fallen to less than man. We reduced ourselves to animals and beasts. Chasing the animals and cutting their heads off and drinking their blood. Right? We're now destroying everything. But it's because we are out of our minds. You see, we are out of our minds. Literally out of our minds. When we was in our mind, nobody can fool us. But now this devil has given us his mind. And that brings me back to what I was talking about. And that's why he's afraid of you, brother. Because after 3 generations of being in America, you know what's starting to happen? Negroes on television, you can't tell whether they're white or black no more. He comes on television and says, "Good morning, ladies and gentlemen." And you got to look around the screen and say, "Wow, I thought that was white." That never happened before, because we had the voice of the sound of many waters. The white man couldn't look us in our eyes because our eyes had flames of fire coming out of them. What fire? The solar plex fire. Solar. Don't let me speak to you about a fire that's burning inside of us that they don't have. Their palate is low. You understand me? We have an inner torch in the ancient writings of Michelangelo. Notice his name. Michelangelo, the angel Michael, he made a picture of Jesus, Jesus, and he always would draw a little torch in his chest, a little candle.
That's right.
You remember that picture?
That's right.
They never told you what that torch meant, though. That torch is an inner light, like I said last time. Anybody here who is 9 ether, 8 ether, or 7 ether, and when I say 7, 8, and 9 ether, I'm talking about the texture of your kingly hair, not kinky hair. 7 ether is wavy, 8 ether is curly, and 9 ether is nappy. You understand that? That's the fuse that's ignited by the sun. In the center of your chest, and that's why the devil calls it a solar plex, because it's a sun here. Take your hand and just rub it like that. Right? Now remove it. And just take your mouth and go. You feel that heat? You know that if you ask any medical doctor, they'll tell you more Nubian children get high temperatures than whites.
That's right.
It's a fact. Don't believe me. Check it out. Almost every, or let's say 8 out of 10 Nubian children, when they came home from the hospital, within 8 to 10 days is back in because of a temperature. Because when we inflate our pyramid, you know what the pyramid is, right? Right there. Right there. Right there. See the pyramid? And above the pyramid is of Horus. Right there. You understand that? They always put, in ancient Egypt, they would put a cobra up at the top. Because a snake was not a bad symbol to us. It was a bad symbol to him because it represented healing to us. And they stole it and put it on the medical symbol. Medical symbol. Medicine. Medicine. Meta. Meda. Ancient Babylon. Persia. Assyria. Medicine. Look at it. Don't believe me. Check it out. When we breathe in as a people, talk to me. What are we breathing in? Right. Do you know something? I'm going to touch on things we know about us. At least 3 times a week you wake up with one nostril closed. Why? I'm not sick. And then the moment I get up out the bed and started moving around, that nostril opens back up. I can fool myself into thinking I'm getting cold. The light's going out. I'm getting a cold. You see, the fire goes out, it gets cold. Or cool off, and go pop in some drugs that makes me breathe different. Drugs make you breathe harder. And you don't get in that full, what? Say it again? Oxygen. Oxygen. And what do you need to light a fire? Oxygen. And when you breathe out, what are you breathing out? Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide. Right? What's the root word of carbon dioxide? Carbon. And what does fire give off when it burns? Carbon. I know I sound crazy. I know this sounds far-fetched, but this is what we knew as right knowledge, as the Elohim who only served who? Yeah. This is what we knew, that that sun was in touch with us, and we're at our best under it. And that's why they moved the better part of us from the southern part of this country to the northern part of the country where we can't function. And if you get down to a hot, or say, well, it's too hot down in Alabama, because that's where you belong. You start talking about something being too hot, you start sounding like the devil. The only reason why it seems too hot to you is because the palate that's inside you is dim. Once that palate is hot again and the heat is coming out, it meets that sun. You with me? That sun in Arabic was called Shams. In Hebrew it's called Shams. It's also Samson. Samson is also Shams. And Samson is identified by what? And his hair. Somebody don't want us to know about the 9 ether. That's right. Then follow? The 100% in hieroglyphics is written as a 9. 100%. We are the only people with 9 ether. Now, anybody here whose hair is thin and says, well, he's not talking about me. If you get insulted, I feel bad for you because you didn't feel bad for us when nappy hair was an insult. You didn't comfort us when nappy hair was an insult. You paraded around with your hair brushed straight and wavy. And that's our people. That's you. We all the same family. But you didn't step in and give us that tutoring. We call ourselves picky head, naughty head, nappy head, never knowing why they're always sticking hats on us. So they're cutting us off from that flow, from that energy, from who Hagar in the Torah called El Roy. When Hagar left Abraham, again I'm going to say what? Look it up. When Hagar left Abraham, went back in the wilderness right before she went back to Egypt, she did not call on Yahweh, ask an Israelite. Who'd she call on? She did not call on Elohim. She called on El Roy, which is written Ra, Alif, Yad, which is Ra. El Ra. She was calling on Ra, not the sun, because the language sun is still Shemsa. Right. The word for sun in hieroglyphics is not Ra. They say the disc. That round thing up there looks like a disc that gives off the light that we could see by, because there wasn't no street lights in Egypt. And so Ra and Ra for see in Arabic is the same. In the Quran it says, don't say Ra'inna, say Unzanna. Don't misuse the word Ra. Say it as I see you, not Ra'inna. Right in all the Qurans. You know, and go down to the tafsir, and they say, we don't know what's really being said. We think they're trying to say a Hebrew word, or we think they got a whole bunch of they don't know what's being said. It's quite simple when we get back into right knowledge. That light and the light inside of you is linked up. That light inside of you is ether, and identifies you as the utopia. And when you combine the two, you get Ethiopia. The original people of Path. That's who we are. We are the ancient Nubians. Ain't no such thing as a Kubu land. Stop lying, Dr. Ben. You can only lie until they get the language, I'm telling you. As long as these people don't have the language, you can lie to them. When they get the language, you can't lie no more. Because the meanings of everything in the scriptures, whether you call it the Bible or Torah, is in the translation of people's names. That's where it's all at. They will not tell you that. Because if they tell you that, you'll start reading the Quran and seeing the people's names. You'll start identifying symbolism with deities and gods. And you'll back away from the stupidity that has kept us down. And why are we down? Because someone has clipped our ether cord from the Elohim. And they teach us to look down. Hold your heads down in prayer, the Christian church says. Drop your heads in solemn prayer. Right? Stand in Qiyam and put your hands on your chest and hold that, cover that light. Block that light and drop your head down. When Christianity or Krishna worship or Hinduism no longer worked on you, you understand? Then they came in with Al-Islam. When I say Al-Islam, I'm not talking about real Al-Islam. I'm talking about with Khadija. Now look at this. Rasulullah Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam, saying that because the Sunnis always say salatu wassalam, I don't know why. They can't pronounce a stupid thing like sallallahu alayhi wasallam. When Rasulullah came down from the mountain, come on, and he said he just had this meeting with this Holy Spirit called Jibreel. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. She took him and took him where? Took her to who? Took him to the paper. Took him to the paper. Waraqah. Why was he called Waraqah? It tells you. Because he was a keeper of the and the. But was he an Israelite according to them, or was he a Christian? That's right. So Khadija saw that Muhammad had some vision, and she rushed him to the Christians. Wait a minute. There was a whole lot of Jews in Mecca and Medina at the time. It's all throughout the seerah of Islam. They teach all about these different tribes of Jews. She didn't go and say to the Jews, who is Gabriel? She took him to the Christians. And the Christians got together and said, we're going to make him an Arabian prophet. Whether you like it or not, I'm sorry. We're going to make him a prophet. You understand that? And they set out to make Muhammad into a prophet. Muhammad didn't know what he was. And it says it in the Quran. Muhammad came down for Surah Al-Qalam and said, I don't know what. They're saying I'm possessed by a jinn. And they said, Muhammad, by the grace of Allah, you're not possessed by a jinn. Now go and put your cloak on and go back down there and teach. And they said, well, who did I meet? Does the Quran say it's Jibreel Muhammad met in the cave? No. Don't say who it is. Somebody added in the name Jibreel later because they can take it back to Gabriel coming to Mary type of thing. See, that made sense. All he said is he heard a voice and someone yelled out to him in a light, Muhammad, read. And he said, I can't read. But they add, Ya Jibreel, ma'ana biqariyan. The name, that's not in the Quran. You don't see in Surah Al-Alaq, Muhammad, Iqra. وبعد ذلك فقالت الملائكة يا جبرائيل مa'ana biqariyan. You don't hear that? After that, the angel says, and, you know what I'm saying? I am not a reader. You don't hear that? Read. They added Jibreel. And you won't dare question them. And no Sunnis won't question them. And no Shiite won't question them. I had to come along to question them. Say, wait a minute. Show me in the Quran where it says that that's Jibreel who met her. Well, that's what's written. I don't care what. I want to see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. The controller of the heavens and the earth. I'm not concerned with what some man said. Show me. Any good writer can write a good story. Just read the Prophet by Khalil Gibran. And anybody who read that book, you know that book is more inspiring than the Quran at times. And it was once in a classical form of Arabic. And he's called a Nabi, the prophet. But they killed him. And they'll kill anybody who tries to teach you right knowledge. Especially now, because your body is beginning to adjust to this environment. You understand that? And in 8 more days, or 8 more years, when the 400 years is up, you will have reached the 4th generation of genetic breeding chromosomes, and you will be back to a state of godliness in the year 2000. And the devil knows that. And he knows that the voice of one crying from the wilderness is already here. He hears it. He hears the teachings of the Lamb. I'm not the Messiah. It says in Revelation, like unto the Son of Man. I will be thought to be the Messiah. I will appear in a Messiah image to people. I'll teach like the Messiah. But I am not the Messiah, just like the Messiah. And he can hear now. He said, this man has changed full stream. In a matter of 1 year, he then went from teaching Islam in its pristine purity and dove into questions that nobody else would touch on, and now he's talking in Hebrew.
All right.
Because it says in the books of Revelation that out of his mouth and the book of Daniel went a two-edged sword. You have to understand the Hebrew and the Arabic. Muslims don't understand just understanding Arabic, and Hebrews don't understand just understanding Hebrew. Don't you see how I'm marrying the two?
Right. All right. That's right.
But they can tell by what I'm saying now. The Masons say, oh my God, oh brother Nimrod, Elijah has come.
Right. All right.
People say, well, that Elijah was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Was it?
No.
Read the book of Malachi. They couldn't even tell you what the name Malachi meant, let alone who received the book. If you're the man in the book, don't you know who received the book?
Right.
Show me anywhere in the Nation of Islam teachings where they tell you who Malachi was. They don't know. The word Malachi is Hebrew. Meme, Lamet, Kaf, Malak, angel. The yet on the end is my angel. The archangel. The Almighty is saying, I will send my angel. He knows me as Yahweh and Elo, Elijah. That's not his name. That's a title describing the being that would come to earth. If you read the whole book of Malachi, you'll see it says it's an angel in the 2nd chapter. And then what does it say? First will come Elijah. Then will come the Lord, as they put it in the Bible for a translation. Correct? First will come who? And then it says right in the last chapter, the last verse, or the 4th chapter of the book of Malachi. I will send Elijah the prophet before the great and dreadful day of the Lord. You understand me? No. Now in Israel, a prophet prophesies, tells you what things are going to happen. That's been done. You understand me? Then will come the Lord. Now if that was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, someone switched things backwards. Because Master Farah Muhammad was already here when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad met him. Is that true or false? True. Master Farah Muhammad was older than the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So he was born before him, in case they say something about that. And if he was the Lord, or God incarnate, that was coming after the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, then someone switched things up on you. I'm sorry if I'm touching soft spots, but we ain't got but 8 more days. I got to teach straight out now. No more parables.
Yes. Right.
No more El-Islam. No more Judaism or Christianity. Nothing but right knowledge. When you go down off the Mount Zion and you say, I spoke with the Lamb, so he ain't talking nothing but right knowledge. They say, what is your religion? Say, I don't have a religion. I am religion. What are y'all? Amen. What are y'all, Muslims or Jews or Christians? Yeah. Yeah. We're Muslims if the word Muslim means one who's of peace.
Right. That's right.
Because peace in the Lamb is truly wonderful.
That's right.
We're Christians if you mean those who acknowledge the Messiah, the real one, Yeshua, not Mark Anthony and Cleopatra's son.
Right.
Yes. And we are Hebrews if you mean we are Abraham's descendants. Oh yeah. What else do you want us to be? We'll be whatever you want us to be as long as you define what it means to me. Don't call me no Muslim and then you don't know whether it means submit or peace. 1 minute some scholar says it means submission, the next minute some scholar says, and I'm standing there confused. Confused. But the thing that made me an Elohim is way back in the books of Genesis. Genealogy of Isis. And it says right in there, now the Adamah they use, the Adamah, the man, has become like us. And he has right knowledge. He what? Knows. That's right knowledge. And once you know right from wrong, wrong can't get you. Once you know right knowledge from wrong knowledge, no one can teach you wrong knowledge anymore. Once you know good from bad, you know how to act, fool. But now we done forgot good from bad, so we don't know how to act. We don't know how to treat people. We don't have no contact with the universe, and we're wondering why every time we gather it rains. It rains because though I'm standing there telling you you have a link to that sun, you don't really want to believe me. You still want to believe in spookism. You still want to worship the word of Allah. You walk up and say, man, he's turning us away from the worship of Allah. Somebody stop you and say, who is Allah? What is Allah? A word. Christianity pushed that in St. John chapter 1. In the beginning was a word. What the word mean? Is what I want to know. Okay, we got back. They said the word means Jesus. Logos. But at least you took it back from Jesus to Logos and took it back to soul. Elma. And then spiritos. As they brought it from Greek to Latin. But they took it back to some spirit force. And they dumped over Jesus. But they left me and you leaning on Jesus. Good Jesus is coming to save us. The Nation of Islam gave you another Jesus. I'm sorry if this hurt your feelings. Y'all have been waiting for the return of Master Prophet Muhammad since 1933. Tell the truth. You said Master Muhammad is coming back. Pamphlets are going to fall out the sky. Everybody get their holy name and be ready to go. Ain't that what they taught? Speak the truth, though it's been at others.
That's right.
Ain't no Master Fraud came back. He didn't even come back to Honorable Elijah Muhammad's funeral. Don't get mad at me because somebody misinformed you. That was a Japanese conspiracy.
Right. Teach.
To use you to overthrow in this country. And that's why the flag, in Muhammad speaks, everything was called Nippon. That's another word for Japan. They used to refer to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad insultingly as Muk-Muk, meaning Japanese. On the front of Muhammad's speech, there was a rising sun, the flag of Japan. You understand what I'm saying? There was no place in the doctrine for a culture, though they were called a cult. They had nothing that tied you back to a specific place in any country, in any land. And now Minister Louis Farrakhan is trying to look Senegalese. See, the outfit he appears in on Savior's Day is a Senegalese outfit. You got to learn to look at things and read them. So now why of all the places of Africa did you pick a Senegalese outfit, Farrakhan? You never speak about visiting Senegalese. Because the government has a plot with Senegal. Now you see it. There's people from all across the country standing there right now. And downtown in everybody's area, there's Senegalese on the street peddling.
That's right.
New Negroes. Right? They'll sell anything for the white man. What do you think they're here for? Huh? They're here to supplant you, Jacob. And why is he representing them? Why? Because he works with them. I hate to tell you that. Mr. Louis Farrakhan only started talking back black after I addressed him in that book. He said, well, you wrote a pamphlet apologizing and said the Honorable Elijah Muhammad came to you in a dream and told you that both Farads are the same. All of them, in fact. And that there should be no differences. Fine. And now that we have defined that, then do this for me. Put Farad's picture up on his day, just once. What do I mean by that? Why don't they put Master Farad Muhammad's picture up on Savior's Day? Right. Isn't he the Savior? Right. Didn't he come on that day? Right. Didn't he save them, as they say? Right. The lost but now found. How come his picture never goes up? Right. How come his picture is not in Muhammad speaks all throughout it? If God came to me in a person and saved me, I'd have his picture on my chest, the way some of you guys are walking around with my picture on your chest. They say, that's our Savior, and you ain't afraid to say it. That's right. That's right. Yo, Sunni Muslims say, y'all worship Imam Isa. Say, it's better than worshiping Muhammad. At least Imam Isa's alive. I can touch him and talk to him and watch him fall down the hill. It becomes more realistic. Like, yeah, he's my idol. I idolize him, but I worship Allah. You follow that? Now, you take that home and sleep with it. But why isn't Master Farad Muhammad's picture up on Savior's Day? Did you ever wonder? Because if you saw that picture, you'd walk out that temple. You would not stay there long if you really kept looking up every Savior's Day. Because somewhere along the line, inside of you, the genealogy of ISIS is going to explode, and you're going to say, that man don't have 7, 8, or 9 ether. That man is standing there with 6 ether, flank straight here. That is not one of us. And the story is fantastic. That Allah's father lived in Saudi Arabia. And we are his uncles. Right. That's right. My name is W.F. Muhammad. I came in North America by myself. My uncle was brought over here by a trader 279 years ago. He does not know he's my uncle. That's the lesson. That's the lesson. He does not know he's my uncle. Who is he talking about? Huh? He's talking about you. And according to that's the student English class 1 to 36. I'm quoting it. I came in North America by myself. Somebody else finish it. Come on, y'all was in the nation. My uncle was brought over here by a trader 379 years ago. Come on, you 5%ers. Now, talk to me. If I'm God's uncle, I'm older than God. If I'm God's uncle, if Master Farad Muhammad calls me his uncle, and even if I'm his uncle, and I'm in the wilderness of North America and porked and messed my brain up, and I don't know who I am, I still am older than you. Right. Making me your God. But he said that. Yes, he did. He said, who's the original man? He's not a black man, maker, owner, king of the planet Earth, father of civilization, and God of the universe. He took us from the earth back to the universe. Yeah. Right? Asiatic black man, maker, owner, cream of the planet Earth. Father of civilization and God of the universe, not the planet, of the universe. And then they said, and nothing is spooky? Now that's spooky. I'm a man, and I'm the ruler of the universe, and you're God, and I'm your uncle? But I don't know I'm your uncle? Now, what bothers me about that is, I don't think they ever wanted us to even know. Because there's nowhere in the teachings after that where they explain how I'm his uncle. Why don't they tell us? Master Fard Muhammad said in the lessons that I'm his uncle. Define that for me. How am I his uncle? What makes me his uncle? You follow that? No one tried to bother to teach. I'll tell you why. Because they use the name Yaakov, which is Yaakov. Yaakov. And that's Jacob. And say he is the father of the devil. And the devil's tricknology, which is called Judaism. And then they say, and they use it, Christianity, to shield their dirty religion, which is Judaism. You follow that? So they're speaking about Yaakov giving birth to a religion, not a race. The gravitation of the devil is a devil's mentality of trick lies and tricks in the form of knowledge. And it will be called Christianity to hide Judaism, the real dirty religion of the Ashkenazim and the Sephardims of Russia and from Spain. That's what they're talking about. And with that, I become Ishmael because Ishmael was the uncle of Jacob. So what Master Fard Muhammad was saying, I came to North America by myself. The Ishmaelites were brought over here by a trader 379 years ago. They don't even know the Ishmaelites. Right. Now the funny part comes in. Can an Ishmaelite be an Israelite?
Yes. Yes.
Has to be. Are Midianites Israelites?
Yes.
Are Edomites Israelites? Oh yes. How does Ishmaelites become Israelites? The same way Manasseh and Ephraim became Israelites. Manasseh and Ephraim were the sons of Joseph, correct? And married an Egyptian woman, correct? And had 2 sons. And Jacob welcomed them in the covenant of Israel, and they became known, though they were Manasseites and Ephraimites, they still were known as Israelites. Well, Hagar was an Egyptian. And she married Abraham, the father. Right. And she had a son named Ishmael. Correct? Right. And therefore, Ishmael is a Israelite. And Muhammad then, being a descendant through the Quraysh, to Kedah, to Nebat, all the way back to Ishmael, becomes a Muslims are Israelites and don't even know it. The Quran speaks about them as being people of the book. Right? Now the Muslims separate that, say people in the book are the Israelites and we're the Muslims. But they say in the Quran, Muhammad, who we find mentioned in the book, in the Torah. So Muhammad is in the Torah, then Muhammad is a person of the, and if we follow Muhammad, then we are people of the, and the people in the book are Israelites, then Israelites and Israelites are saints. So Master Fard Muhammad was saying, I came to North America by myself. My uncle, meaning the Israelites or Ishmaelites, were brought over here by a slave trader 379 years ago. Now we're coming to the 400th year of the prophecy of Genesis, chapter 15. So it says, to know of a surety that my seed will be in a land as strangers, and they shall serve and be afflicted for. But then after that, what's going to happen? That's right. We're going into the 400th year. We're starting to align back in with the universe. You understand? No, no. Say no. Say no, I don't understand, Baboni. I overstand now. I was understanding for too long. Now I overstand. It's time, it's wake up time. It is time to wake up, shake it. You can go against anybody with what I've been teaching you. And I'm not asking you to like me, like the teachings. You can go against anybody. You can stand and hold your own against anybody, and most of y'all have tried it and know it works. Christian preacher, Christian teacher, Mohammedan, Sunni, Ahmadiyya, Wahhabi, Baha'i, Buddhist, anybody can stand against truth, and it's only going to get heavier this year. Because now you're going to come and you're going to be speaking words of overstanding, because we got the right knowledge. You got to assimilate that knowledge with your wisdom, and then you got to move on to have an understanding. Islam was the knowledge. And y'all are the best Muslims there were. Ain't no Muslim women would walk around with bells on their faces and holes in their noses. Were they? Unless they were copying off us and didn't want to admit it. We're the only ones that lived strict. We made the 100 rak'ah, but Nifsa Min Shaban, no Sunnis was doing it. You couldn't get them. You go to State Street or Taqwa or Ikra, and on the night of them niggas over there smoking cigarettes outside talking. Not their fault. It's just their wrong knowledge. They've been made to hate their own Savior. That happened in Israel. It happened in Egypt. It happened when Moses got ready to get out of Egypt. His own people started hating their own Savior, Moses. You may not like me, but I'm here to save you. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to teach you anyway. And if they kill this body, that's your fault. I'm not going to duck. I'm not going to stand in front of the gun, but I'm not going to duck. If you want the knowledge to keep coming to you, then you protect it. Plain and simple. But I'm not the type of person that won't get in my car and drive away without bodyguards. That's the kind of person I am. Now you can follow me if you feel like. I don't mind. But don't get in my way. Because I believe that when it's time, it's time. And that may be the wrong belief, but I just happen to believe that. I wish I knew. But no one knows that but Allah. No one knows that hour and day but Him. But I do know this, that this is a time for right knowledge. If I want a question asked, I'll let you have it. Let me talk. Right? If you show me in the Quran where it says I should stand in Qiyam and bow in Wuku, I'll do it. I can show you in the Quran where it says stand and raise your hands. I can show you in the Quran where it says prostrate to the ground. I can't show you Jusl and you can't show it to me. It was necessary for you to go through that school because we were the wild ass of a man. You understand? We had no discipline. And the Nation of Islam did not give us the kind of discipline necessary to raise a nation. Otherwise, the moment the Honorable Elijah Muhammad died, it wouldn't have fell apart. There has to be a strong foundation put there. Y'all now have the discipline. I'll tell you something, a lot of you men who was in the community for years, under what I was teaching you, under the lifestyle that you had to live. You say, I don't know why I got to live like this. I don't know why I got to put up with this. You can stand anything now. Any pressure they put you under, you go work with somebody else and the people working with you want to get you fired. That nigga don't know when he don't stop and take breaks. He don't smoke. He ain't drinking no sodas. Yeah, right? Y'all can outwork any group of people on the planet right now. Because I was building an imaginary pyramid. I was saying sleep on the floor. Say there's rats in there, so what's wrong with rats? They might bite you, then don't get bit. There's always somebody that gets bit. Why gotta be you? They say there's no heat, so there's too much heat, so I subjected y'all to everything that you can go through to make you ready to stand whatever comes against us. Because I don't need, can I speak here? I don't need the bitching men. I really don't need the bitching men. Because the devil is going to make up his mind to come after us one day. It's written in the law. He's going to try to climb Mount Zion to destroy us, the Holy Tabernacle. You understand? And I don't need men that are going to break down like little girls. I made brothers walk the streets and pedal. But anybody who knows the beginning know I walked the streets and pedaled. They'll tell you I used to walk them to death. Anybody talk to any old timer, they say that guy is nuts. He'd walk us I'd walk them from Coney Island to the Bronx. I'm not exaggerating. Every day. And on the way back, I'd stop off at a kosher restaurant and say, we're going to split this bowl of pea soup. Is that true? And take all the money and give it to the sisters. Say, later, and we left the sisters there with the money and we took off again. And we walked again. From Coney Island to Staten Island to Far Rockaway. Out to Hempstead. And all the way back. And on the way back, we stopped. And they say, can we get something to eat? I say, yeah, we'll get a little soup and a little extra. The man, they be like, yeah. I said, give me a little coleslaw, please. And they say, about one of those knishes or one of those franks over there. I said, no, just coleslaw. And they say, what? I said, just keep walking. I said, one day you'll understand what I'm doing. You may not like it now, but one day you'll understand what I'm doing. And we'd walk. When we walk inside the Sunni Muslim mosque, the whole place would turn around. They'd feel the presence. Because we had walked all the way from Brooklyn to 125th Street. And we'd go up in the mosque and they would go like, who are these guys? They'd feel the presence, the energy of the... We're ready for Juma. I don't want no crap out of you people. The strength we were building. Something that was not there because we loafed around or we lined. We moved along, shuffling along. And everybody else was moving. No, it wasn't your fault. Why were you moving at that pace? Because you've been placed in the wrong environment. You're not in your environment. You're a gazelle in the wrong forest. So you're going to be slower than everybody else. You say, how come the people come from the Caribbean appear to be smart enough? And don't lie, American Negroes, and say you don't say that. I don't have a nationality. I'm a visitor. So I'm Trinidadian, Jamaican, Panamanian, Dominican Republic. I'm all of it. And you know you Americans would say, how come the people from the Caribbean appear to be smarter than us? Because they were nearer to their environment. Their feet was on. Now go to Canada and find people from the Caribbean who are from Canada. You'll find that they're not as smart as you at times. You find a Latino from Puerto Rico who's been born and raised here. He thinks he's smarter than a Jibaro, but he's not. He calls him a hick. Because he has on a flowered, loud shirt. He got all these bright colors on, and we got on gray and black and navy blue, and we think we're cool. And we call him a hick, Jibaro, or Jiwara. Yeah. We're making fun of him. He's in tune with the flowers of Puerto Rico. Right. We're in tune with the buildings on Wall Street. He's walking down the street, and he looks up at a sign, and he asks you with a heavy accent, where is Bushwick Avenue? And you're looking under the sign of Bushwick Avenue, and you look at him and saying, he's got to be stupid. This is Bushwick Avenue we stand on. You say, this is Bushwick Avenue. And you and your dumb friends walk off, you stupid ass people, blah, 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 blah. Man might know 15 other languages and never bother to learn English, though. Right. You assume everybody got to want to speak this language. Right. But he didn't speak English, so he didn't know that was Bushwick Avenue. You think he's stupid. He's the one with the knowledge and you're stupid. All of that has been done to us. All of that was done to strip us of our divinity, to make us worship other people's gods, other people's descendants. Do you understand what I'm saying? It pulled us out of touch with ourselves. A lot of people didn't stay on the boat with me. Like Columbus, I said land is ahead. They was like, I don't see no land. This is getting ridiculous. I can't live like this. I'm leaving. I said, okay, don't go to shul. Shul is the Hebrew word for hell and the English word for school. So everybody who wants to leave the community, the first thing they tell me is, well, that's what I was called up front. Well, Imam, I say yes, I would like to go back to shul. I want to go back to school. And I'm saying in my mind, in Hebrew, he wants to go back to hell. I want to go back and get educated so I can get a degree. I can get more heat in hell. I say, well, fine, you just go right on. I'll see you when you wake up. You with me? Right. All of that was perpetrated against us. They have been working with religion on us. They need us, and they make you, believe me, some of y'all are looking at me right now like, he's trying to take us away from religion. That's how deep this spell is. I'm not trying to take you away from religion. I'm trying to take you directly to Allah. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go direct. Stop going through all these things. And stop pretending when you got a mosque with all this Arabic on the wall, that's not an idol. When you have a synagogue and you have the Torah behind the wall and the Torah is all decorative and someone's pointing with a pointer, stop pretending that that's not idol worship. Because if there's any object between you and the source, it's idol worship. Can I have idols? Yes, I can have idols. Because if you read in the books of Exodus, it says, we follow the religion of who? And who? And Jacob and Isaac. So our ancestors were our idols. And it's in the scriptures. They said they worshiped the God of their father, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Somewhere along the line, they gave us the guilties about identifying with Jacob, Isaac, or Joseph, or Muhammad. You follow that? They made us turn to a word and said Allah. You see? And left us there. They never told us the hidden meanings of things. Now it's time for the people of Nuapo path to come forth again. When you want to know the truth or right knowledge, ask. That's what I'm here for. You may not like the answer I give you. Don't believe me. Don't believe anybody. Carry that with you off this mountain. He said, don't believe anybody. And just because you come with a soft-spoken voice and a turban and some alcohol and some perfume and you got a book in your hand called reading, that don't mean I got to believe you. That don't mean I got to believe that book. I'll take the Quran and throw it against the wall and watch the look on your face. And when you get mad, I'll see, now I know what you worship, nigga. Because that ain't nothing but a piece of paper with some writing in it. It's what's in it that's supposed to be important, not this book. Put the Quran on the highest shelf in your house. When I finish reading the Quran, like, all I want is in it. Did I confuse anybody? No. I'll throw the Quran up on the wall. I don't care about no Quran. I'm concerned with what the message was. Man put it on paper, and then when he put it on paper, he started messing the doggone thing up. And they got this school of pronunciation, and this school of thought, and this school. I don't need your schools or your shoes. I don't want them. I want pure, right knowledge. Something that's going to link me back ethically to my descendants, so the next time we have a party, it ain't going to rain. Because it's you people here that are idol worshippers in the sense of words that are not in tune with our ancestors that's making it rain, you know. We calculated it up on the mountain. We be saying, can people who live on the mountain raise their hand? Oh, that's the perimeter. Very good security. Tell them when they leave, the rain stops.
That's right.
The day y'all come, it starts. We sit there in amazement. Say, okay, now, being June 26th, it rained a little bit. We'll try for the 17th, right?
Yep.
And the 17th comes, I said, look like it's going to be good outside. Everything is good. Everybody's here. Fine. Here come you word worshippers. You spook worshippers. I'm sorry. Don't get mad at me. You ain't in tune with our ancestors. The Native Americans, when they want some rain, they start jumping up on the ground. Because they say they got ancestors that live down beneath the earth. They start stamping their foot like this. And they say it makes rain. White man said, rain dances are real. Follow that? Now, when he took that, he went to Africa and grabbed the Nigerians. And they were Shango worshippers in Obatala and Ogun and Yemaya, called voodoo or juju in French. He grabbed them and said, hey! Train took them boats and said, direct those boats to Haiti, don't stop over here. And sent those Africans to Haiti and went back and got some people who were monotheisms. People who believe in one of the gods. You were more, as Muslims and Israelites out of Ethiopia and Sudan, you were more controllable than those guys from Nigeria that was banging on sticks and calling down the rishis and putting the white man under spells and turning them into zombies. He was scared of them. You very seldom see an African walking down America with a whole bunch of tribal scars and stuff like that. He's like, nah, go to Nigeria, go to Liberia, and let some Georgians get back in the country. They're afraid of the link between us and the universe. Do you hear me? And once we make that link now, coming down, they lit that first candle already in Israel. It literally. There's literally the head of the Ashkenazim church lit the first candle already. Don't believe me. Check it out. They have it in a cave, a big menorah. And they lit the first candle already. I got pictures of it. Ashkenazims is one of the sects. There's only two major sects of Judaism today. They're called Ashkenazims and Sephardim. You understand? No, they're not Ashkenazims and they're not Sephardim. They are Khazars and Spaniards who converted to Judaism and took the religion and then went into Palestine and took it. And they deserved to take it because those people over there ain't Palestinians anyway. You read the scripture, you find out the Philistines came from Egypt. Also, the real Palestinians were Egyptians. Read the genealogy charts of ISIS. You follow?
I can't do what you want. I can't do what you want. I can't do